Hi, I'm Congressman Denny Heck, and welcome to the 8th edition of Constituent Mailbag, an irregular feature in which I attempt to provide a video response to one of the more frequently asked questions or concerns that have been conveyed to my office. And today I'd like to talk to you about the concerns that have been forwarded to our office regarding the situation at the border. It is a concern that I share. After all, who wasn't heartbroken by the photo of Oscar Ramirez and his 23-month-old daughter, Valeria, who died trying to cross the Rio Grande River? The photo of that will remain burned in my mind forever. There is a clear problem at the border. There's no question about that. To begin with, the accounts of mistreatment and neglect of people who are in custody, well, they're too very heartbreaking. This isn't who we are, and it's something, frankly, that we have to fix. There are short-term solutions, and frankly, where I think we ought to begin is with minimum standards of care for children. It's part of the reason why I've co-sponsored a bill with a very long name called Humanitarian Standards for Individuals in Customs and Border Protection Custody Act. Basically what it does is, as a bare minimum, guarantee that every child is entitled to a roof over their head and a pillow and a blanket, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, clean clothes, access to an appropriate healthcare professional, minimum standards for the children in our care. I think it's incumbent upon the Congress to step up and provide the resources needed to make sure all of that happens. Those are among the short-term solutions, but we should also simultaneously looking for long-term solutions. Where I always like to begin with are the root causes of a problem. So that begins, I believe, with the reevaluation of our immigration system. Our immigration system is broken, and it has been for quite some time. I've been an advocate for comprehensive immigration reform. It passed overwhelmingly in the Senate a few years ago, but the House did not take it up. I think it's past time that we do that. I also think another long-term solution includes a responsible aid policy toward the countries from whom we are receiving most of our asylum seekers. That's, of course, Honduras and Guatemala and El Salvador. And that's why I'm co-sponsoring the Northern Triangle and Border Stabilization Act, to provide them with some responsible aid that's accountable, to enable them to mitigate the circumstances that have caused so many people to flee north. Lastly, I think we ought to return our national dialogue around immigration to, frankly, more responsible and informed discourse. I'll be very blunt. I think the president has to realize his words have consequences. You can't threaten to close the border and not expect that people will react. Just about everybody who is an expert on the subject would suggest to you that the president's incendiary rhetoric over the last 2.5 years has actually led to an increase in the number of people that attempt to cross our border. Look, the bottom line is that I believe my values are all people deserve to be treated with dignity. And by golly, if that includes anybody, it absolutely includes children. No child should be without basic needs, their basic needs being met, and certainly not here in the United States of America. Thanks again for dropping by.